So I'm going to go on that assumption. And basically, we're going to walk through one and do one so you get a feel of it. But I'm sure after you leave this session, you can apply the same principle to make any envelope, okay, any size. Okay, so the card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we're going to give it room to make an envelope for 4 1/2 by 5 3/4. That means we have a 1/4 inch of wiggle room for the card to get in. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so this is an 8 1/2 by 11. Okay, so because you don't have a cutting mechanism, so we have to connect two sheets of paper in order to make the paper long enough. Okay, so what I'm doing here is you would take your paper and do about a 1/2 inch bend. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit precise. I'm going to use my cutter to give myself that 1/2 inch. So here's a 1/2 inch on the bottom. So now if you have this paper, pick up your paper and you can do it with me. Okay, I do a very light scoring because this paper is thin. So don't press too hard or you're going to poke a hole in it or you're going to actually cut the paper. Okay, so I'm going to lightly score this. And this idea is exactly what I'm going to tell Linda or anyone to salvage the card, okay? The hinge concept is great. So you just fold up this 1/2 inch, okay? Can you see this 1/2 inch? Okay, this is the hinge that I'm going to connect my paper onto. So I'm going to glue that onto this piece of paper and instantly I have a longer sheet of paper to work with. Okay, so I'm going to glue that.
Can you give them time to fold the paper first? They still have not folded the paper.
Okay, so fold 1/2 inch. Okay, 1/2 inch. So you have 2 sheets of paper here. Okay, don't forget. But I'm saying 1 sheet is not enough. You need 2 sheets. Alrighty? Okay.
Wait, I can see Lena getting ready the paper. Just give them another minute.
Okay.
Lily, fold 1/2 inch of paper.
Yeah, fold 1/2 inch on the edge of that one paper. Okay.
So in inch.
1/2 inch. Yeah.
1/2 inch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'll explain why 1/2 inch only. Okay. You understand the idea of a hinge, right? A hinge is like your door hinge. It allows you to open and close, but it also allows you to extend the dimension of a piece of paper when you need to use it. Okay, so here's my 1/2 inch.
Give them another minute. Okay, I think they're ready.
Okay, and very simply, just take the edge and butt it up with it so you have it right together. Now you have 2 sheets of paper and you glue them down. You glue just that hinge onto that paper. So I'm gonna, for expediency, I'm gonna use my double-sided tape, but go ahead and use glue. Glue will work too, okay? Glue will work perfectly. So if you use this kind of glue, it's fine, okay? Now don't use too much though, just enough to stick, okay? The reason is glue on paper has the weakness that it'll get soggy, it'll get all buckled up, okay, if you use too much glue. So just use enough that it will stick, okay, and stick together.
Okay.
Because you're doing an envelope, the weight of it is not too much. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it.
Before you put the paper there, Elaine, before you put the paper there, Sue just arrived. Hey, Sue.
Yeah.
We are taking 2 sheets of paper.
Okay.
And then you fold 1/2 inch on one of the sheets.
Yeah, you measure 1/2 inch and you score it like we used to do so that you can fold it nicely for 1/2 inch.
And then you
Okay.
put glue on it.
Yeah, and I have applied my double-sided tape glue already. Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna put it on top.
And then
It's
you stick
just
the
to
other piece of paper
extend.
there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, so I have to pick it up and I want to see it because I want to see it that it is quite perfect because I don't want it to be crooked. Okay, so I look and it's quite perfect. And when you fold it back out, you have a long sheet of paper, okay? Now yeah, okay. And this will be the bottom of our envelope right there. Okay, you know how an envelope, now I constructed one before, like this is my envelope. Now this is actually quite a large envelope and I give you the dimension of this. This envelope is a 6.5 long and a 6-inch because I was constructing it for a 6 by 6 card. Okay, so I use 11 and a half and 14-page paper, but I know that 11 and a half by 14 paper is, I mean, you can buy it. I mean, you buy a packet of 500, which you don't know what to do with. So I thought, why don't we just make our own 14-inch paper or longer by building that hinge. So now I have a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 22-inch. There's more than sufficient for any size envelope, okay? So this would be the bottom of your envelope, okay? Just like this bottom here, you fold up. So the dimension then is anything that you want minus 1 inch, okay? Now, and that's because, so for example, I'm gonna carry on. I'm gonna make this envelope 4.5 by 5 3/4, okay? In order to accommodate that 4 1/4 by 5.5 card, okay? We're giving it a 1/4 inch more wiggle room. So you can take your ruler. You know that the width of this envelope is going to be 4.5, okay? You don't need more, it's going to be 4.5, but I said add another inch, so it'd be 5.5 long. So I'm going to place my ruler somewhere in the middle. I'm just going to, okay, I'm going to make it the width of 5.5, okay? So take a pen. Okay, I'm just going to position it so that you can see it. So this is 2 plus 5.5 is 7.5. Okay, now this is just an example. You don't all have to make the same envelope. So basically I give myself that 5.5 width. Okay, sorry, 4.5. 4.5, not 5.5, 4.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. 4.5 right here. I'm gonna draw on it so that you can see it. You don't have to draw on it, okay? I draw on it so that I can show you. Otherwise, you can't see it because it's too light. Okay, so this is a 4.5 in width that accommodates the 4 1/4 card. Okay, now the length of it, you already have both sides, so it's perfect. Oh, sorry, let me finish one thing. But you're not gonna cut here because I said you want the 5.5 because I want one more 1/2 inch on each side for a hinge again. Okay, like, am I getting confusing now? Now this is the 1/2 inch hinge. Okay. Okay, the card is this long. Add another 1/2 inch on each side because you need that flap to close off the envelope. Okay, so the flap, okay, so what I recommend is, okay, let me do the top part first and then you cut one. So this is 4.5. Now we have to do 5 3/4 up. Okay, don't forget you have a sheet already, so you don't have to worry. You just take both sheet and cut. So it's 5 3/4. So I'm going to measure up 5 3/4. the 5 3/4, it still need a flap to come down. So let's give it another 3/4 inch for a flap. So 5 3/4 plus 3/4 would be 6 1/2. 5 3/4 plus another 3/4 is 6 1/2. Okay. Because your envelope have this flap here, okay? So that's what I'm counting for. The 6 1/2. If it's bigger, it's okay. You just make sure it's not too small, because if it's too small, you will not have enough. Okay, so 6 1/2. Okay, so it's basically up to here. Take my scissors. Okay, so cut with the 1/2 inch, okay? Don't cut the 1/2 inch out, cut with the 1/2 inch. So still, yeah, it is 5 1/2, okay? 5 1/2 long, 5 1/2 long.
Don't we need an extra 1/2 inch for
Yeah,
the
you do.
flap?
That's why it's 5 1/2. That is 5 1/2, okay?
Okay.
So it's these two outer lines is 5 1/2, because these 1/2 inches is your hinge again, okay? This is the size of the card that you try to fit it.
But don't
Okay.
you need some wiggle room for the card?
Yeah, there is already wiggle room. This is 4 1/2 between here. Your card should be 4 1/4. So you have about 1/4 inch. Okay, you can
Oh, I
definitely
see.
make more wiggle room, Veronica. Okay, you
Thank
definitely
you,
can.
thank you. My card is
Because
thick, yeah.
yeah, because some of the cards are, especially in card making, there's a lot of 3-dimensional stuff in there. And the thicker, the more stickers and 3-dimensional stickers you have, you need more wiggle room, okay? But like I said, this is a very general principle of creating an envelope, is to give yourself 1/2 inch on both sides so you can cut a hinge. Now you have this piece of paper now, so I'll take a scissors and I just cut this, and I pray that I'm right. Yeah. Now this is a very rough thing, okay? Because and when you do it nicely, okay? Because I'm doing it right now. It's like and don't forget your orientation of your card when you put it in the envelope. It's up to you, okay? So if your card is really big one way, you can slide the card in this way. You don't have to slide the card in horizontally, okay? You just want an envelope, okay? Okay, so according to my measurement, I'm measuring up right up to here, okay? I can actually chop this off together quite safely because I'm gonna cut this down anyways. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more measure before I chop it off. So I have 6 1/2. Yeah, 5 3/4. Because it'd be 5 3/4. 5 3/4. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I should make it 7. Maybe I should make it 7. Yeah. Okay, let's take it all the way to the 8. Let's take it all the way to the 8. Okay, there, for sure we have enough. Okay, it's an 8-inch long line by 5 1/2. Okay, so 8-inch by 5 1/2. Okay. I'm gonna cut it all the way to the 8-inch and Okay, now I just cut it off. 8-inch point, I'm just gonna cut it off. You can tell it's very rough because I'm not even trying to be straight here. Just want to show you how you can just construct one. Okay, there. Okay. Remember your 1/2 inch? Okay, so you can take, where's my pen? Okay, here it is. Ugh. I know my front does not have to be that long. I know my front is only going to be down to here. Okay, so when you have this facing yourself, okay, you have it look like this, but you turn this down, okay, because you only really need 1/2 in order to accommodate that 5 3/4 height, okay. So I measured again, make sure I have 5 3/4. So here's my 5 3/4. Okay. This is my 5 3/4. Basically is I'm just gonna fold this off and cut it off. Okay. There, you don't really need all that. You can cut that away. Okay. Now this up here is your flap coming down, and again, you probably don't need it that deep. Okay, I'm just gonna fold it down first for now, so that you have a concept of an envelope right there. Okay, and if you think this is too deep, which I think it is, I'm just gonna cut it off. I'm just gonna fold back up in about 1/2 inch, cut off, so it needs to just resemble an envelope, okay, as you can see it. Okay, now it's starting to look like an envelope, okay? Now, how do you put those together? What you do is I'll show you an envelope I've done. See, it has the 2 flaps here. Okay, so that means I know if I turn it over here and show you, this is the part where I need to cut that 1/2 inch hinge. You see that? Okay, this is where I come in and I cut off 1/2 inch. Okay. There's your 1/2 inch, okay? Or you can go along here. I should just go along here. Okay, so you cut off this part because you want it to be narrow, just like here. You want the bottom part to be narrow. Okay, so the markings that you've done, you cut it off. Okay, you take it at an angle, you give yourself a little bit angle, and then just cut off that 1/2 inch. Do the same over here. take a little angle and cut off 1/2 inch, okay. There. Oh, sorry, one more here. Cut that. You need to cut that little angle off so that you can fold it. Cut a triangle. There you go. Okay. See that? Okay. Now this flap, you just fold it. You just fold this flap over so it flush, and fold this flap over. When you pick this up and you seal it, there's your envelope. Oh yeah, you need to cut off the top too, because the flap and with to cut off this one top too. There we go. Okay, you have to cut off this part. The only thing, okay, so now you have an envelope, okay, whatever size that you want. You see the hinge is on here. If you like what you can do, you can turn it inside out so that people can't see your hinge and it's hidden underneath. I mean inside, pardon me, okay, because it will work like this, okay. So I only use red pen to show you, but when you're working by yourself to make your own envelope, okay, I would just use pencil so it won't be such a mess. But I'm just showing you, so I was using red pencil. So there's your envelope, okay? Now to refine it, first of all, if you have a corner rounder, that would be helpful. But if you don't, you can round the envelope a little bit by cutting the corner, okay? Just cutting the corner so that you get a little rounded corner, okay? Again, if you're not in a rush like I am right now, you do a much better job. Okay. And no envelope is that high. So you can also turn it down a little bit if you like, okay? So like the envelope that I constructed, I do have that much slack there, okay? It's because my card was that big, so I kind of have to do it that way, okay? And then the fold it down, see it's all rounded, okay? Now some of the really nice envelope, what I do is, there's tissue paper out there. And what you do is you construct a piece about 1/4 inch in, and you insert it into it before you fold it up. Then you will have an envelope that has, and then the tissue paper extend all the way up. So it looks like it is lined, okay? You can do that. I think I showed that to you guys last time on my daughter's wedding invitation. I had it lined with tissue paper. So you just have to make another sheet and put it inside before you seal it up. Okay, but this is the very, very basic way of envelope. And the whole idea is to make that hinge, that 1/2 inch hinge, okay? So sometimes your card might not, like you do not have to put your card in the right side in, like normal. You have to, like let's just, for example, like if this is a card, you don't have to go in like that. If you don't have enough paper, you can slide it in this way and it will still work. I think you understand what I'm saying, okay? So this is a hinge, okay? Okay, so for Linda, what I told her earlier, and I'm gonna just finish that conversation, is that let's, for example, you cut off that mat and you make it into a mat, and you're gonna put it on top of another sheet of paper, okay? For example, you would say, okay, I'm gonna mount it on another card. before you mount it, give another 1/2 inch hinge on here and fold it. Fold it under and stick it onto that back paper that you have, the blue paper. And it will open and close again, okay? If you want to hide the hinge, and I'm gonna tell you right away now, we're gonna do this folder, okay? Like, see, these are all hinges right here. You see that 1/2 inch? You see the 1/2 inch, okay? This whole thing comes out like this long. I mean, there's no paper on the market that is long enough, but basically we're just building hinge on hinge. And so what I do is I would cover with another piece of pretty paper right over it, and no one will see your hinge. Okay? Yeah. Okay. How much time do I? It's 1:26. Okay. I'm gonna show you now how to make an accordion folder. Okay. Now we're gonna do it together now. So get your color paper out, please.
Elaine, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is really no need to rush. Like you can just take your time and with the envelope, right? Does anybody have any questions?
Do they want to do another envelope?
Yeah. Just take your time and see if they
Does anyone want to do another envelope?
have a look at what they have done with their envelope.
Okay, let's see what you've done with your envelope. Like I said, this is your template, okay? I don't expect you to put your nice card in this one because it's really fast and really rough, but you have to settle down and do it, okay? And it's all about measuring, okay? It's all about measuring. So what I do is I would put it down on my paper. I put down 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I put down 4 1/2 by 5 3/4, and so on like that, so that you can remember what you're doing. Otherwise, as you're cutting, it's really hard. Like, 3 things is going on, and most of the time is we cut too fast, and then it's done. Then you have to throw that piece of paper away. So I use a little slip of scrap paper with me, and I write down my size. You can write down, okay, the score line, fold line, and stuff like that. After you do about 2 or 3, I tell you, you would be very fluent at this because I've done 65 envelopes all in 3 days, and I became a machine. It's like 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 4 1/2, 4 1/2. So again, it's something that you can do when you're watching TV, and by then you're not thinking. You just go 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 5 1/2, and you have a whole bunch of envelopes ready for whatever you need whenever. Okay? Okay, I don't think you have a question on envelope. Let's do an accordion, a very simple accordion thing. I hope most of you have either 8 1/2 by 11 or even 12 by 12, okay? I'll give you the measurement right now. And this is based on pictures are all 4 by 6 pictures, okay? I'll show you this example. Like, this is an accordion, and I made this for my mom-in-law. Now, I can actually put pictures in the inside, but I just didn't, not at this time, okay? So imagine your pictures. Basically, accordions that you can open it this way, or you can open it the other way. They will flip the same way. So it doesn't, there's no, like either way it can work. That's the whole idea, okay? Like, these are all spaces that you can put pictures in. But just this one I gave to her, and I didn't have pictures because I only have like 4 pictures to work with, okay? So the whole accordion is built on the concept of hinges, okay? And all pictures are 4 by 6. Of course, you can cut down your picture, but we have to make the accordion folder the standard size. So here we go again. 4 is the height, 6 is the width, okay? And we're building the hinges on the 6-inch side. Now, 8 1/2 by 11, we can get two sheets out of here. So take one sheet of 8 1/2 by 11 and turn it on the side. This is 11, and cut it into 5 1/2 for now. Okay. So everybody take a piece of 11 inch goes sideways, you have 11 inch, cut 5.5. Okay. I'm gonna cut 4 sheets so that you can see it. So 5.5. If you have this, if you have no cutter, 11 inches, halfway is 5.5. Make a mark. I should stop using these red pen. They kill all my paper. Okay, so 5.5. A mark there. 5.5. Make a mark here. The only problem with cutting is you have to draw, otherwise you can't go straight.
Are we cutting 4 sheets in half or just 2 sheets?
No, 2 is enough. 2 is enough. I just do more just for your sake, but 2 is enough for you for now, okay? Because you can keep adding to it. Okay, you can keep adding. I have done, okay, hang on. Let me cut first before I talk. I have done accordion folder gift books for people that hold 60 pictures, and it's really 30 cards, and so it only takes 15 sheets of paper because each sheet takes 2 pictures. Okay, so to me it's a very economical project, and it accommodates a lot of pictures. Okay. Okay, so now this is 5.5 high and 8.5 across. Now 8.5 is a little too long because your pictures, like I said, is a 4x6. Okay. So what you do is you really only need 6 plus half an inch, 6.5. Give it another inch, is 7.5 the most. If you have 7.5 and you have a 4x6 picture in it, you already have like more than an inch on each side. Let me grab a picture. I need a picture. Okay. Let me create a picture right away. 4x6. Okay, this is not your stuff. Okay, don't worry about it. I'm just gonna create a 4x6 for you. Okay. Imagine this is your picture, okay? Like a photo picture. Okay. So if you put it in here, okay. This is 4x6. Okay. 5.5 is more than sufficient. Okay. You can trim it down if you want to this way, like this way. Okay. If you want a really narrow border, but I would advise a little bit more because all your folder card has to be standard. So you want to have a little bit more room than less room. Okay. But as far as the 6 is concerned, you need 6.5 because you need a half an inch hinge, half an inch hinge. And then you have to move away another inch. So it's really 6, 6.5, 7. Okay, 7 will give you half an inch on both sides, but this is 8.5. So you can take all these side ones and cut it down to 7.5. They cut off 1 inch. Okay. Because this is 8.5, so I'm gonna cut off 1 inch to 7.5. Okay. Now these are all 7.5 long. Okay. This one, 7.5. I'm still gonna work with this picture. So on all these paper, take a 1/2 inch to make your hinge. So there you go with your ruler again. For those of you who have nothing to work with, take a little bit of, with 1/2 inches. I mark it off here, 1/2 inch. I put 2 dots here. So this one you don't have to make a line. Put 2 dots here. Okay, you see the 2 dots? Okay, I just make 1/2 inch. I put it against the ruler here. Take my trusty knife opener, letter opener, and I score, pushing it down. Okay. Those of you who has a cutter, open this thing up, move in 1/2 inch. This is your cutting grout where your knife goes in. Move it over to to this side where it's not cutting, 1/2 inch, and use that grout and do the same thing. Okay. So there's my score line. Okay, so now score your 4 sheets of paper at 1/2 inch. Okay, score them all. Now the beauty of this, I think, is it Veronica who asked earlier, do you have 6 and we have 4? It's okay. You can keep adding on to your accordion folder, okay? So for today's demo, we're gonna do 4. But even after you turn off your monitor and you said, this is not big enough, all you do is just keep cutting this and you keep adding on. Okay, you can add to your accordion folder. Okay. Okay, do we all have the score lines done?
Just give them a few more minutes, Elaine.
Okay. So for those who have scored it, you can fold it. Okay, like I'm folding it now. Just fold it.
They are all working very hard.
Okay, good. So if you have 12 by 12 paper, when you're building an accordion folder, it's actually, how should I say it? It's actually difficult because if you think about the dimension of a 12 by 12, you can still only get 2 of these paper out of 1 12 by 12. Okay, it's because you can use the 6 by 6 side. So when you cut it in half, it becomes like say for example, a paper like this. This is a 12 by 12. When you cut it in half, it becomes 6 inches, right? But so you will have to use it sideways, 6 inches. You have to cut it off this way, and you'll have that much left. Okay, so for economy wise, I would use 5.5 by 11. 8.5 by 11 paper because it's less wastage. That's all, less waste. Okay, so once you've done this, now this is accordion part. You have a hinge. Take a piece that does not have a hinge and put it against it and glue it, and that's it. Okay. So always hinge and no hinge, or you can go like that. Hinge, no hinge, put it on top. I'll show you and then I'll come back and do it with you. Okay. No hinge, and there's a hinge. Take no hinge, put it on that side and glue it. Okay, now there's a hinge. Okay, turn this hinge up. This is an option. No hinge, put it on here. Now do you get the idea now? So there's a hinge, turn it up again, because it has to fold the other way. Take one with no hinge and put it against it. So hinge and no hinge, hinge and no hinge, okay? So if you look at your paper, before you glue it, you will see that hinge, no hinge, okay? No hinge and hinge, okay? And you just basically glue them all together. Glue one at a time, sorry, not all together. Like. So your hinge is on the alternating side. Your hinge, and then of course here, this sheet, the hinge is over here. You attach it with a sheet with no hinge on this side. Okay, so there's your accordion. Okay. This side has no hinge. You put the hinge to it. Okay, so you can glue it now, okay? Hinge, take a sheet with no hinge, put it on top. Make sure they line up properly so that, because when it gets really thick, like 2 or 3 sheets does not matter. But if, like I was doing like 30 pages, if you're off, you will have an accordion that is slightly crooked all the way through, because so you want to make sure that they are quite accurate, like tight. So butt them up and then put glue on it. You can use this kind of glue, it actually works, or you can use double-sided tape, okay? But just beware that if you're using glue, you don't want to handle it too much right off because glue needs to dry, okay? So remember last time when I was doing another card with you, I would use those bowl clip, those or paper clip, and I would clip them all together, let it sit for a few hours even. And then so that the glue would dry and is secure, okay? Okay, so there. right there is. I'm just gonna, so there's the hinge. I'll attach it with no hinge because the hinge is on this side. Or I can actually turn up like that, okay? And then glue it on. Okay. Like with glue, you really have to be patient because I can see mine is coming off because I was handling it. Because this accordion folder is what you call, is something that it has moving parts, okay? Because if you give it to somebody, they're gonna open it and look at the pictures and whatever. So your glue needs to be, your adhesive need to be very strong, okay? Because otherwise it will fall apart on you over time. And you don't want that. You don't want your project to fall apart. So this is where I recommend that you buy something, you buy even the double-sided glue that is even of a higher quality than these things that we have, okay? Because these are actually very thin. They're good for holding down pictures in a scrap album, but I usually go to actually go to a type of double-sided tape. It comes from Korea. It's called sukguang, and sukguang is like plastic. And anything you build with sukguang, it will never fall apart because the glue is so strong. Okay, so I do this again. There's a hinge, no hinge. And a rule of thumb is you see this hinge is coming up this way. Okay, on this side, it's facing you, going up. May,
Yeah. Yeah.
can I take 5 minutes and show them an album that I have finished?
Yeah, you still have 10 minutes in the session. So when they are.
I want them to finish this first. And I have to say a little bit about embellishing the folder.
Because if everybody finished making this folder today, then they can decorate it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
next week, bring back and show everybody what you've done with your accordion folder. And then you can do the waterfall next week.
Yes, we will do the waterfall next week. So see, this hinge is coming up. So I use this side, and this is where the hinge is. So I have it on the other side. So it's opposite side. So I'm gonna attach this. When you glue, it's good to pick it up so that you can see it, okay? You can pick it up so that your eyes can see it instead of sticking it on the table. Then I put it down. So because these lineup needs to be quite precise. Like I said, it will shift if you don't. Okay, so all these connecting lines. Okay, my last sheet, same, flat side, hinge. these waterfall folders are really good as, if you make one, it can be like a mini album, we call it, and give it away. So you don't always have to have a full size scrapbook. Okay. Now I do 2 more sheets than you guys did, because most of you only have this much, right? But even with this much, you see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures in this. I have 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. It doesn't take much because it's on both sides. So this is the album. You can open it like this, or you can flip the other way and open it the other way. So this is what is called an accordion album. Okay. A note on the hinges. You will notice that on each page you have a hinge. Okay. What I usually do is, and this would not be just like, of course, you know, if you construct this out of some pattern cardstock, you might want to just keep it, because so this is where your choice comes in. Example, this is the picture, right? Because if you put the picture here, okay, you notice that there is space around it, okay? So what I do is I actually would cut these sheets to cover the hinge, okay? So people cannot see the hinge. So that's a level, that's a layer of work for you now. So these sheets are like, it's a 7 across, including hinge, 7 by 5.5. Okay, so each page is 7 by 5.5. So you can do a whole bunch of 7 by 5.5. And you can line them. Like you can put this paper as becomes your base. Okay. When you do that, you will see that you cover up the hinges totally. A word of caution, because these are folding, okay, there's a bit of a, there's thickness in it, believe it or not, okay? So your lining sheet, you might want to take just like a very slight smaller than a 7, okay? You might just take it down to 6, and I go down to 6 and 15/16 of an inch, because you need that little bit, because if you butt it up too tight, you'll find that when you open, they will scratch against each other, okay? So you just give it a little bit of room. So now let me show you here. When you put down your lining paper, I don't know if you can see. See, this is the fold line. Give it that 16-inch space, okay? Give it that 16-inch space so that each page can close comfortably without scratching against each other. Because if you put it right up here, 2 pieces of paper, they're gonna get scratched up and you wouldn't like it. You know, they get all wrinkled and caught, and it's just not pretty. So move back about a 1/16 of an inch like this, then all the moving parts move well, okay? So this is the way to cover up the hinge. Okay, so you notice on this side, you don't have a hinge. So those paper, you don't need to line unless you want to. So it's only every other page you only have to cover up the hinge with paper. I mean, cover the sheet with paper for the one that has the hinge. The other one does not have a hinge. Okay, and same with the underside. They're all this, all like that, just one with hinge and one without. Okay, so when you do this kind of thing, you plan a little bit. You can use the paper that you really like without the hinge, so the full thing is exposed. But see, in this case, look at the hinge is so obvious. It's actually on the sheet. I have to cover this up. Otherwise, it looks a little ridiculous. But there's also a way. You can say you have a yellow hinge, so take a sheet of yellow paper like this and make it half a hinge and put it on a side so that it becomes intentional. It becomes your border. So it's really any way you play it, okay? So nothing is absolutely correct or absolutely wrong. It's just how you like it, okay? So you can cover it up, or you can take a sheet of this, and a lot of times I do, because don't forget, when you do this kind of album, where was it? You got tons of these little strips of paper, okay, left. So I'll cut half an inch, and I'll put it in here, and it becomes my border. So half an inch. And they actually would fit quite perfect. So there's half an inch here. I put it right here. And then visually, it's like a border. Okay. So those are just aesthetic. It's just different ways to play it. Okay. And for sure, if you think this is too thick, okay, because this size, this width here is pretty much defined by the picture, okay? You need that much room. But here, you might not like it that thick. So when you do the cutting, you can make it like 4 inches. Let's say with the border, you make it 5. But right now, this is a 5.5. That's why it's so thick. So, but if you do that, you have to cut it right from the beginning. Because after you stick them together, it's a little bit hard to cut. What we do is, so let's say this is it, you're done with this. So make sure you trim off, you cut off this part because there's nothing for you to hinge on, okay? You can just cut it off so you won't have a hinge sticking up. Okay. So coming back to something like this, I do embossing. You cut your pictures nicely. I have a corner here. So it's actually a very simple project, and you don't even have to decorate every page. See, I make it so that it's actually really tight, but this one is much bigger, okay? So as long as you make your measurement even in your accordion folder, you can do whatever you like. Okay, can I take 5 minutes of your time and show you an album that I finished?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an 80th birthday album. I don't think you can see this. I don't think you can see this because I don't think you can see the embossing on this card, on this side. Can anyone see the embossing? It's too bad the camera won't show it up. But it has a bamboo pattern on it. And yeah. So this is a person who's turning 80 at the beginning of December, but I think it's very unfortunate the daughter would not be able to deliver this album to Vancouver. There it is. These pictures are actually poorly developed, I would say, because they're all black and white, very old. And when she scanned it, I don't know if you noticed, these rim are the old pictures that have those wiggly rim. So I try to cut away as much as possible, but it's hard. But see, these are the things that I showed you before. I do a triple framing. So he's a very talented man. He dabbled in Chinese opera when in his younger days, and he was in his drama club and all that. So it's still black and white, still black and white. So these are what I call 3-dimensional stickers. Okay, they're quite thick. So if you do that with a card, okay, remember those. Make sure your card envelope is a little bit bigger so that you can slice them, put them in, okay? Otherwise, it'd be difficult for you to put things in. Don't know if you, okay, see if you can see these two double happiness is gold embossed, okay? And so in scrapbooking, there is such a thing called embossing. And we have powder and all kinds of stuff to play with it to do that. Again, I don't know if you can see in the picture because it's very hard to see. This frame that I use is a red with white polka dots. And the reason I thought of this is, look at his shirt. It's red and white polka dots. I don't think it's apparent on camera. But so when I see that, oh, I can frame this picture and it, you know.
That's
it will
nice.
It'll look nice,
It's
yeah.
nice. Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing you pay attention to when you do scrapbooking. You pick up things in the picture, like, and it's really random because I honestly don't know this man. I just know her daughter quite well. So she asked to do this, so I do it for him. But one of the things I feel a little uneasy about is I'm imposing a lot of my own sentiment upon a person that I don't know well.
Mhm.
So there's this his 20th service award thing. So I just use that, and I put in like achieve, what is it? Respected, recognized, a successful career, like, and I'm sure it is. So, so those kind of the things that when you do it for other people, I think that's the difficulty. But otherwise, it's actually a very fun project. I've got these happy cut out, and some of you will get this, okay? Those of you who is in our class will get this. These are letters cut out. Yeah, so you will get a bunch of those. Brads, remember I give you guys brads. These things, I know you guys all have some different ones, but they are the one with the metal that stick through. It's like a nail. Those are brads. This one, go to the dollar store. They're really cheap, $1.25 for 9 of them.
Yeah.
And they're called wood chips. They come in no colors, just like wood. But then you use your ink pad and you dabble it and make and put color upon them. Now this one, I'm sorry, I don't think you can see it, but this is, can you see the embossing of the rose? Can you see it? I think, yeah, you can see it now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's embossed. And so they kind of echo the images. This is an embossed picture of rose, and then there's wood chip rose. Okay. And these are just stickers. The borders, again, I've given you guys borders. So you have all different types of borders. I think the Chinese among us understand it. I went and print these on the computer using the Chinese font. And I make them into, like, Chinese call them 对联.
Elaine.
And this was a page I lucked out. This is they went on a cruise, and I went. Of course, a lot of people went on a cruise, but I got all these paper from the cruise, and I never used them. I got stickers, and I thought, oh, I don't know what to do with them. And when I saw this page, I said, hey, that's it. So I use it all on here. This is Alaskan cruise they went on. So this picture, these two pictures of them, they were picking it looks like they're at some kind of an orchard or somebody's garden. They were picking fresh tomatoes. And I got a little picture of a little girl. So it just kind of, it works in. It's very accidental, but so again, this is his community life. He goes to a church. So, and then at the very end here, I was gonna put down the unforgettable year 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Given the way life is right now, I don't know if it's offensive, so I leave that idea out.
Yeah, that would be never forget.
Yeah, so that's the album. Supposed to go to Vancouver this week, but I don't know if we'll make it there right now.
Beautiful, Elaine.
Very good.
Thank you. So you know what? Any of you, if you like
for
to share
sharing.
an album, if you think I can help, in terms of I will contribute and help you with your material. If you say you need a tool and you don't have it, tell me, give me a holler, okay? I will lend you tools. I would love to do this with you. So don't be limited by what you don't have, please. Reach out.
You know what? You guys need to know that Elaine is dreaming scrapbooking.
What? What's the word? Dreaming?
Like, yeah, you are all so lucky to have Elaine, because every week I get a text from her. Oh, I saw this on Facebook. Should I buy for everybody? Like all those cutters and stamps and punches and whatever. Like she goes.
Yeah, I
hunting for
would
all
buy
this.
it for you if you guys let me know, okay?
Yeah, she
Because-
hunts for all this with you all in mind. Like we are so blessed to have Elaine. Elaine, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you,
But
thank
only
you.
if you guys want it. So don't be shy, okay? Reach out, and I would love to do this for you guys, because I understand it is a very difficult time for all of us. And if you are homebound, okay, we'll make arrangement. We'll try to get it to you, okay?
No, Elaine has
Thank
already
you.
prepared another bag of goodies for you all your craft. She has already prepared another bag. So I said, yeah, we will put them all into your
Oh,
Christmas
that's a
bag.
very small bag though, but that has a happy and some bling bling. Okay,
So
the idea is to get you guys involved.
She's always looking out for you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Elaine.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are very talented.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.